It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the South region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors South.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you along today, and I'm really pumped to be where I am. We are a long way from my hometown in Texas. We're all the way on the East Coast at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. This place is fantastic. Not only does it have great fishing for redfish and speckled trout and flounder and many more species, but it's got great golfing, paddleboarding, kayaking, everything that a family would love to do. You can find it at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. And we're going to be joined in the boat today by someone that our Eastern viewers will be very familiar with. He is Captain Inglis Glover. He lives here at Murrells Inlet. He's been in this area his whole life, and each week he does our weekly Carolinas report on Fox Sports South on that Eastern version of our show. So we are ready to go in the Mako 21 LTS. Captain Glover is going to join us right here in the boat. Right now, though, we're going to take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner, and when we come back, not only will we be doing a little fishing here at Murrells Inlet, but we'll be taking you around the region for your latest local fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Here's Julie with your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are predicting the top game fish activity on both days this weekend to take place around dawn and again in the evening a little bit after sunset. Expect the sun to rise at 7:23 and set at 6:53. And night skies will feature a moon that is 41% illuminated. We're coming right back with all the current freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the area. Plus, Bassmaster angler Keith Combs joins us with some thoughts on the Alabama rig.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
What you got?
Yeah, flounder.
Have you got one?
Yes, finally. Doesn't feel real big there.
Oh, that's a decent flounder
Yeah.
right there.
Yep, he might be a keeper here. Oh.
There we go. All right. Hey, welcome back everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today. There's the white side. Turn him over to the pretty side.
Definitely a keeper.
Let them see. Got us a keeper flounder here right off the bat, early in the morning. Step down here and let's show off what one of your South Carolina flounders look like. That's a beautiful fish right there. Snaggly teeth right there. We're with Captain Inglis Glover. He's joined us in the boat, and we're not keeping fish today, so we're gonna.
There we go.
We're gonna hold that baby up one more time like that, show you what he looks like. Beautiful fish. Inglis, give us an overview for someone who's never heard of Murrells Inlet. What is this place?
Well, Murrells Inlet is the south end of the Grand Strand area, which I know a lot of people have heard of, the Myrtle Beach area. We are, an inlet that's located down here. We're approximately 5 miles long and 2 miles wide. We have some unbelievable fishing. Throughout the year, we've got everything from speckled trout, redfish to flounder. We've got plenty of nearshore and offshore fisheries that are accessible, but we're a beautiful inlet here with so much to do. You guys need to come down and visit and see what the South Strand is all about.
We'll tell you a little more about it. We're gonna get rigged up here. We're fishing a jig head with live mullet. In fact, I'll show you just a quick shot of what some of these mullet look like. That's what we're fishing with on an outgoing tide back in some little shallow channels. Let's get you some fishing reports to get started this week. Let's head to Tennessee and Kentucky where Crispin Powley has a report from there.
When considering a destination for your next family getaway or outdoor adventure, I would urge you to consider beautiful Benton County, Tennessee. Nestled along the banks of Kentucky Lake in West Tennessee, historic Benton County offers all the amenities that an outdoor enthusiast could ask for, served up with a heaping portion of southern charm. Visit this sportsman's paradise and experience why so many of us are proud to call it home.
Hey guys, Crispin Powley here. Welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, I'm just going to use one word to describe the fishing here right now, and it is tough. I would love to tell you a different story. I would love to tell you that this place is on fire. It will be soon, but right now it is tough. We have had these summer and then these cool nights and then these weather systems come through. It's just really got the fish kind of all out of whack. There are some decent bags being caught, but it's real inconsistent. As far as bass fishing goes, stay on the main lake right now and look for grass. Look for grass that the wind's hitting, look for grass with bait in it, look for grass near structure, and use topwater baits and swim baits. Anything that really replicates minnows or shad, which is what the bass are really keying on right now. Crappie are biting. It's probably the best report I've heard in a while. Some guys are fishing transition areas where the crappie are actually starting to move back into these shallower flats. Look for brush piles and mats real near deep water. Catfish bites pretty fair. Main river stuff that has got a current eddy and use cut bait right now. As far as everything else goes, my advice to you is really pick your days. Go on the front side of a weather system and just prepare yourself for fall fishing and great fishing to come. Guys, we can't wait to see you on the water in Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
There we go, got him right here, yeah. A little bit smaller one. Still right on that edge of 14 inches, you know.
Yeah.
That's our limit here.
Yep. All right, well, we've got him biting right here. One more little flounder right there, not a big one for you. Back that one goes, and we're gonna take a quick break right here for word from our sponsors. And want to put up just a couple of things here real quick. We ate at a great restaurant last night, one of your favorites.
Yes, it is. The Dead Dog Saloon, located right here at Murrells Inlet.
Fantastic fresh seafood and fish, shrimp, everything right here off the inlet, everything fresh off the boat. You might want to give them a shot if you come here. There's another couple of restaurants you like here
Oh,
as
it's
well.
a beautiful restaurants all along the Marsh Walk. The Murrells Inlet Marsh Walk area, like we had talked about, has just really brought a lot of economic growth to the inlet here.
Swim with it, baby. It's weird. He's waited till I got almost to the boat, and I think I've got a fish on here, but I'm not sure.
There
I
he
do.
is. Way to go, Barry. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right. I got my first South Carolina flounder right there. Welcome back, everybody. Here, I'll show you the little jig head we're using. It's just a painted lead jig head right there. And we're tipping it with these live mullet. And there is a beautiful South Carolina Murrells Inlet flounder right there. We got a little something working. Thank you there, everybody. What's the peak times of the year to come here if somebody wants to book a trip for flounder or for redfish?
Well, I tell you, honestly, the flounders start moving in mid-March, depending upon once we start getting some warmer weather, mid-March to late March, and they'll be here all the way through November. Redfish are the same. Redfish typically come in a little bit later, around June, and they'll be here into January and February.
Now, as far as the offshore fishing, when it's calm, when it's reasonable out here, you can actually run offshore out in the Atlantic Ocean, fish some reefs, and what are you going to catch when you go out there, and what time of the year should you do that?
Well, that is another fishery that really is good. May into September and October, and you're going to catch king mackerel, Spanish mackerel, black sea bass, spadefish, sheep's head, flounder. You catch a lot of big flounder out there on the reef. It's a great fishery to get out on, fishing on these artificial reefs that the state has put here, and also on some real good live bottom areas that are located within 5 to 10 miles of the shore.
Awesome. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports. Let's go to Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. First of all, your freshwater report with Jimmy Jacobs, followed by saltwater and Bob McNally.
This week's Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi Freshwater Report is brought to you by JimmyJacobsOutdoors.com, your source for Southern sporting adventure information. Visit our online bookstore for guidebooks on trout fishing, saltwater fishing, and hiking in the region. We're now into the fall, and that's the dry season across the South. Rivers and streams are at their lowest levels of the year, and it's ideal for targeting bass in creeks and rivers. Largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass get most of the publicity, but they're not the only black bass in this region. Shoal bass are found here too, and they love moving water. In fact, they don't even do well in impoundments. These fish are native to the Apalachicola, Chattahoochee, and Flint River basins in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. But they've also been transplanted into Georgia's Ocmulgee River. Now, just identified as a separate species in 1999, shoal bass are rugged river fish. They strike hard, they fight harder, and as the name implies, you only find them in the cataracts where there's a lot of rocks. Today they're rare in Florida, they're endangered in Alabama, but they're thriving in Georgia. Most of these fish are 16 inches or less, but the world record is 8 pounds 12 ounces, so they do get some size to them. A great place for targeting shoal bass is on the Flint River at Sproul Bluff Park in Upson County, just to the west of the town of Thomaston, Georgia. You've got more than a mile of rocky shoals here. It's ideal for wade fishing, fishing from the shore, or you can float through here in a canoe, kayak, or john boat. If you're spin fishing, try a floating minnow plug, a small spinner bait, or a jig and grub combo. For fly casting, a white popping bug or a purple woolly booger is ideal to catch these fish.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the state of Mississippi, where fishing fun is year-round and where the Mississippi Gulf Coast offers some of the best inshore angling and offshore adventures anywhere in the world. So start your next fishing adventure in the true South, Mississippi. Well, fall is definitely here with cool nights and dropping water temperatures, and that's turned on a lot of fish all over the coastal South. Bait schools are moving down to the rivers and sounds and creeks out into the bigger open waters, and game fish are right with them feeding. Find a bait and you'll find a fish. I was talking to Nick Strahan over in Mississippi, who's been fishing Upper Biloxi Bay, and he says the shrimp are real thick there, and there's lots of slot redfish that are feeding on the shrimp. He's working marsh points with a strong current using popping corks and live shrimp. For bigger fish, he advises using pinfish and croakers for bait. He says the trout fishing's slow, but he said that fishing should pick up in the next couple of weeks with more bait coming down the bay. In Georgia, I was talking to Captain Brad Stewart in Savannah, and he's doing also very, very well on slot redfish. He had one day last week where his party caught 40 redfish in the slot. Some were a little small and they threw those back, but they caught their limits, and that was in about an hour of fishing. That's red hot action for slot redfish. He says there's plenty of bull reds in the breakers around Tybee Island, and also the Tybee Island Pier anglers are catching plenty of redfish along with some black drum whiting, and that's during falling tides. Trout fishing also has been very good in the Savannah River and also in nearby Wausau Sound. Brad advises using live shrimp under popping corks and working in water 5 to 10 feet deep. These trout are in the 15 to 17 inch range. Some of them are solid 2 to 3 pound fish and real fat for this time of year. In Alabama, Captain George Harrison says the lower Mobile River, where it comes into Mobile Bay, has been very good for a good sized trout. Some of these fish are going 3 to 4 pounds, even up to 5 pounds. So that pretty much wraps it up for the coastal South. Remember, you can't catch them at home, so get out in the water, and when you do, take a youngster with you when you go.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
You got one?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that.
There.
Look at this deal.
There we go.
Easy.
That's what we call a doormat.
Oh man, look at that.
There we go.
That is your South Carolina pig flounder right there. There's your jig.
Thanks.
There we go. Way to go, Inglis. Hey, welcome back, everybody. South Carolina coming at you right there. Romp, 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 romp. Not only is there good fishing here at Murrells Inlet, but you guys have got a lot of good fishing over here in this part of the country. What are some other good locations other than here for even freshwater?
I'll tell you what, you got a lot of things right around here. You know, the C&T Cooper Lake system, you know, everybody has heard of that at some point in time. Moving up into North Carolina, you got Lake Norman, High Rock Lake. You've got Lake Hartwell in the upstate of South Carolina. Lake Jocassie's a beautiful lake that I tell you, the trout fishery up there is unbelievable, and also the scenery on that lake is incredible. You got Lake Lure up in the mountains. Then you've got that whole Strom-Thurmond Lake system that's located Clarks Hill Lake. This is our borders, South Carolina and Georgia.
Now this is a nice flounder. This would be, how big a flounder would
That's
this be?
probably about a 20 incher. I'd say he's a 19, 20 incher.
Okay.
You know, very respectable, very respectable.
And good eating fish. This is a keeper. They have to be how big to be a keeper here?
14 inches, and you can keep 10 per person on the boat, but 14 inches, and we moved it up about 2 years ago to 14 from 13, and we're starting to see a substantial growth in the size of fish that we're catching, but you know, I'd like to honestly see them go to 15 or 16 inches, but 14 is great, and I mean, that fish right there would taste good.
You bet. Let's put him back right here.
There he goes, he'll kick.
And down he goes. All right, it's time for some more fishing reports right here live on the boat with your weekly fishing report for the Carolinas. Here's Captain E right behind you.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by Marshall's Marine. Located in Lake City in Georgetown, South Carolina, we're your bass boat leader since 1969. And for all your nitro and bass tracker needs, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. And I tell you what, fall is a wonderful time in the Carolinas. Right now, you need to get out to your local estuaries. Make sure you've got an adjustable depth bobber system set up with some live shrimp. Get ready to target your deep holes and your live oyster beds for some best trout action of the season. Also on the reefs right now, the flounder is still there, but we're really going to start getting those large Spanish mackerel and the large king mackerel. Get out with some good menhaden, be patient, and get ready for some of the best mackerel fishing of the year. The offshore side of things, we got a lot of wahoo and blackfin that are moving along out there. On some days where the wind cooperates, get out there and look for some of the best action of the fall. And in the freshwater side of things, Lake Hartwell, the stripers will be schooling up right now, and the same down on the Strom Thurmond Lake system there at Clark's Hill. And on Lake Jocassee, the browns and rainbows are starting to move a little bit shallower as that water cools off. Get up there and do some trolling in that 50 to 30 foot depth and get ready for some of the biggest browns and rainbows of the season. On Santee Cooper Lake system, you can get out and target some bass at the Russellville Flats. And don't forget about the stripers that have just come back into season, and they'll be able to be caught right just above the dam, fishing the old river channel there. This has been your Carolinas Report, this week brought to you by Marshall's Marine. And remember, work smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro feature, where viewers get insider tips from top anglers. This week's question is from Joseph, who wonders, is the Alabama rig a passing fad, or is it here to stay? For the answer, we checked with 3-time Toyota Texas Bass Classic champion, Keith Combs.
You know, I really haven't thrown an Alabama rig that much. Actually, I've only spent a few days on the water. And most of the tournaments that I fish, we're not allowed to throw it. But I tell you what, it's an extremely powerful way to catch fish, specifically in that pre-spawn mode. But we saw some summertime tournaments last year dominated on an Alabama rig also. So, you know, I think the bait is, there's a lot of unknowns about it. I think the deep water fishing of the Alabama rig is something that an angler can really target and really catch some huge bags of fish. You know, I know you don't hear as much about it as you did at first, but it is the real deal, and it's a technique that's going to be around for a long time and catching plenty of big bass.
Thanks, Keith. If you need help from one of the pros, visit foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's see who wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
You've made it back to the Inlet Sports Lodge at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. More on that in just a moment, but right now it's time for this week's Costa Catch of the Week winner. Someone wins a free pair of Costa sunglasses. He is Mike Jimerson of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, showing off a 124-pound greater amberjack he caught in the Gulf of Mexico. At the time, it broke the Mississippi state record. It has since been broken again. If you'd like to enter the contest, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, follow the instructions, send us your big fish photo. If you're a winner, you'll win a free pair of Costa sunglasses. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website. You can get there by going back to the front page of our website and clicking on the Costa logo. You'll see everything there, including the frame style that we were wearing on this week's episode at Murrells Inlet. This frame style is called Tag. Next up on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, you'll need some pretty specific gear to catch the flounder, redfish, speckled trout here at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. And it begins with the Luz Speed Spool Inshore Bait Cast Reel Series. This does a great job on all saltwater applications, but in particular on these inshore species like we caught today. We had it spooled, 17-pound test Stren fluorocast line, which also is the perfect line for all three of these species. Now, the rig that we use to catch these fish, actually two different rigs, begins with a slip bobber rig. It starts with a sliding bobber stop, a red bead that slides up against the stop, a sliding bobber like you see here. Below that, about a 1/4 ounce sliding weight. Below that, you've got a barrel swivel. You've got about 18 inches of a little bit heavier leader line, and then on the end of that you've got the hook, and we'll show you that we used live mullet. We'll show you how you hook those. You nose hook them up through the bottom lip and then up through the nose, and that way they do a real good job of sliding through all of the rocks and oysters and all of the snags that are around this inlet. As we mentioned at the beginning, Murrells Inlet is a fantastic resort and vacation area with lots to do for your entire family. And here is the place to stay. It's where we stayed. It's called the Inlet Sports Lodge. It's where we are right now. They have a great facility here, very comfortable lounge out front, got a restaurant attached to it, got a fantastic sitting area, a great place to hang out, a pool, fish cleaning area, storage for your golf clubs. Everything you need at the Inlet Sports Lodge, and I highly recommend that if you're coming here for any reason, you book your stay at the Inlet Sports Lodge. Michelle and her crew do a fantastic job here. Down through the ages, there have been many variations on a quote that goes something like this: "Those who don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it." I've been very blessed in my lifetime to have been able to visit some of the great historical destinations in our great country, from Boston to Philadelphia, and even more recently Charleston, South Carolina, home of Fort Sumter, where the first and last shots of the Civil War were fired. Very interesting stories on either end of that spectrum. If you don't know them, read up on it. I'm fearful that in our culture today, we don't do enough to learn about our own history and what shaped and formed our country and the freedoms that we now enjoy. I believe that each of us has a responsibility to those who, in many instances, gave their lives to give us the very freedoms that we now enjoy, that we should take the time to at least have a basic knowledge of our own history. And there's lots of information available in books and online. Even take the time to visit some of these great historical destinations. I think our culture and the generations to come will be much better for it if we keep those perspectives alive. I hope you enjoyed our trip today with Captain Inglis Glover at Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. Don't forget to join us on next week's show. We'll be on Thursday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. And if any of those times ever change, you'll be the first to know on our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. You can always get the latest episode of our show right up on the front page, and something new this season, the more episodes and more video section right below the latest episodes. We also put lots of news and video and photos up on our Twitter feed. Check it out at our Twitter address you see there. We still have our Facebook page going at the Facebook address as well. Till next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.